I, it's me again, Ariz Ali. This is this is one of my newest lectures about the brain, the human brain. When you think of a brain, you don't think of these two parts here. Only think of this part. It's called the cerebrum. The cerebrum controls your emotional thoughts. Like sometimes when you see a movie and it's a horror movie, so you feel really scared. So what makes you that scared? What 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 really makes it that you don't want to do this? That is always monitored by your brain. Your brain helps you do everything, from picking up your pen, or just right now I'm using my brain. Even you watchers are right now. So over here is the cerebellum.
Cerebellum.
This is a smaller part of the brain. It is located below the cerebellum, as you can see, and also above the medulla. We'll come to that part later. Cerebellum. This part controls your voluntary actions. Like for example, you see, like I'm about to take on a jog. Then what is making you so balanced and focused on getting your job done? That is also monitored by your cerebellum. So let's get to the last part. This is called the medulla. The medulla. The medulla controls your involuntary actions. Involuntary actions means the actions that are functioning all the time, even when you're asleep, and you don't even know it. It's like everything is natural, but it's going inside you, but sorry. And you don't even know about it. And also, I've heard that your brain can also sense hormones in dire need of situation. For example, your friend is tied somewhere dangerous, like in a construction site maybe. So if there's something dangerous coming at you, then what makes you fire up your engines? What makes you go that I should say this, I should do that, this that is monitored by a hormone called adrenaline. Endocrine system include system. Yeah. And also the brain is also connected to two things. The brain, along with the spinal cord over here, it is always located right. And it is also connected to lots of long nerves. Like for example, if you touch some cold ice, so what happens? What makes you you know that this thing is very cold. I should not. It's not. It won't be good to touch it for so long. So then you just put it back. What makes you? You see, your nerves, they send electrical messages to your brain, and it understands them, and it tells you what to do, to touch it or not to touch it. Sorry, mosquito. So that's the function of the adrenaline. I also want to include the endocrine system, and there's also a gland called the pituitary gland. It's just really tiny. It is also located in your brain. So it produces growth hormones, like that's to help monitor your growth, which help you grow from a tiny baby to a big grown-up adult. In the brain, the brain is one of the most important organs, but sadly it's not so defensive. You see, if for example if you get hit by a hard stone, so it hurts, because but only it is a good thing that you should never injure your brain. Why? Because your neurons, they're the nerve cells that make up the brain. They're always sending electrical messages to each other that help monitor whatever you're doing right now, or everything that's going on inside you and other stuff. So if the neurons, they're tiny, they're also known as brain cells, and so they're almost 100 billion neurons make up the brain. You can imagine that such tiny cells, bigger than the space right between my fingers, could monitor such a big body that could do so many great things. The brain is also a very interesting, and the neurons. But if they get hurt or some parasite happens, I don't want to talk about that. It's scary. So it could cause lots of mental damage. So I've heard of some people whose memory is just not good at all. I've heard a man who when I in a magazine, his name was EP, something like that. So if you go to his house and come back 2 months later, he won't remember you. It would like he's seen you through the first time. He doesn't remember anything. Like sometimes he just doodles around and draws mustaches and whatever. But some people like EP are also used for memory tests, and they're also. But what happens if the brain goes evil? That means when a robber breaks out and some maybe kills one or two people or maybe more, and thinks he can get away with. What happens? Scientists are still not are still trying to discover what is going on, but they're also known as psychopathics. They're also been given lots of different tests in prison. That how could their brain do such things? So so I've heard of a criminal who was asked, "What did you feel like when you killed those innocent people? What was your like family?" What did he say? It just feels okay. So scientists are still not sure what happens. They're giving lots of medical tips. Oh, that's all for now. See you next time. Bye. कैसा था?